Happy summer, San Jose. Are you curious? Have we seen the spring market in 2024 take off? Well, here it is in June 2024, and we're going to review the close stats for May on San Jose, so stay tuned. Hi, I'm Theresa Wellman with Homeowner Experience Real Estate, and we're getting into the market report of what's going on in the San Jose market. When I started out this year, I did a forecast saying that we expected 6 to 8% or more price appreciation in 2024. So where do we stand compared to that? Well, we're going to get into the data today. We're going to talk about some of the changes I've seen in the market. There are some changes happening. And what does that mean if you're looking to buy or sell? So let's check over here to the screen. For 2024, we really are watching our market dynamics and the economy. We're watching interest rates because that's been a huge factor for buyers this year, and the number of homes for sale because our low inventory has actually kept this market in a pretty healthy rhythm. So like I said, the forecast was 6 to 8% appreciation, but where are we? Well, first, let's dig into some of those critical factors. Let's talk about the local economy and the local market. So there are a lot of home buyers out there, millennial age or millennial generation, looking to establish their first household, first-time home buyers, or maybe renting to buy, or possibly owning a condo or townhome looking to move up. And so these buyers are mostly tech employed, dual income, sometimes have children, sometimes don't, but they are relying heavily on their stocks to make that significant 20% or more down payment to purchase a property. And look at this S&P 500 that we're tracking according to the Santa Clara County prices. You can see that over the years, it's definitely been tracking. Usually the stock lead is a leading indicator, if you will, and the housing market follows soon behind that. So as you can see, the S&P 500 has done quite well in the last 6 months or so, took a little dip and has again increased. And you see the housing market has really followed that same trend line of upward in prices. How much? We're going to get into that. Because tech stocks are doing well, buyers have more down payments, and the unemployment rate is still only 3.8% in Santa Clara County. So the economy is still doing relatively well. People are still employed, and so they have money to make purchases. So interest rates, now that affects, of course, how much monthly payment that buyers can afford to get into a house, which therefore directly affects their budget and purchase power. So interest rates are not doing great. They're still holding right around the 7% range. The jumbo market, Wells Fargo rates are saying 6.75. I'm seeing buyers anywhere from 6.65 all the way up to 7%, depending on credit scores and down payment amounts, etc. So rates are still what we would consider normal if you've had more than a 10-year perspective, but over the last several years, they're relatively high, right? Definitely compared to what we saw during the pandemic and in 2021 and early 2022, we are still 2x those interest rates. So what does that mean? Well, it's making it more difficult to buyers to get in, and the predictions are that this isn't going to change anytime in 2024. We might see a slight improvement in Q4 of this year, but nothing significant. So buyers who are wanting to buy are having to be realistic and realize that this is the amount of money they're going to have to pay to make a purchase in this area. And because of that substantial amount, $15,000 or more a month to pay for a home with a 20% down payment, they're being quite picky and particular about pricing, about condition, right? This is what I talked about, the interest rate predictions. Several Fannie Mae, Mortgage Bankers Association, and Wells Fargo all see a slight improvement, but into 2025, they still see that we're going to be somewhere around 6 or even higher, right? And here's the predictions, the same, just written out in numbers. So it's not great. It's not a huge improvement. Definitely 2, 3, 4% not going to be around any time in the near future. So let's talk about the number of homes for sale, because that's the second factor that we've really been watching in this market, or I guess third factor, right? The first one was the economy and the stock market. Second one was those interest rates, which we just covered. And now the third one is how many homes are for sale, because that low inventory that you see here in this yellow line is our number of homes for sale. That low inventory through 2023 and early 2024 was really keeping our market afloat as those interest rates increased up quite a bit. The shortage of inventory still kept the rhythm in the market fairly healthy in a seller's market scenario. Now, we are looking to see a little bit more of a typical spring market with a sharper increase in the number of homes for sale. Now, this is just San Jose that we're looking at right here. Across Santa Clara County, we're going to see a little bit different. And of course, there's micro pockets where it might be slightly different depending on where you're home shopping. So you need to consult with your agent on that particular micro neighborhood. But overall, San Jose is looking a little bit more like a typical market. And when I say typical, I'm really talking about these years pre-pandemic, right? 2017, not at all typical. This is where we saw that inverse with inventory going really low and sales being still really strong. 2018 was recovered to its sort of normal market, just a little late market. 2019 was a normal year. And then the pandemic hit and things got all thrown off. But I've mentioned this in previous videos, and I want you just as a quick visual to give you an indication of this market. When this yellow inventory line is on top of the green line, there's no gap like you see here, but rather right on top of it. That means we have a very active, very strong sellers market. And we continue, even though inventory has increased here in the last couple months, sales are also increasing, which is keeping those lines on top of each other and therefore the rhythm of the market quite quick. So that's what I mean here by that yellow line is still under the green top, indicating a strong market. Now here in the end of May in San Jose, single family homes, there's 322 homes for sale, not much at all. That's up from April though, where we were only 250. And it's higher than a year ago because 2023 was extremely low, as you can see here. But it's still not as high as 2022 May, and it's not as high as many other years, obviously, as well. So 2022 was 441 in May. So we're somewhere between 2023 and 2022 right now as far as the number of homes for sale. Now let's talk about the number of homes sold, because obviously what's available for sale and then what gets into transaction and actually closes are two different things and both important metrics. So the number of homes for sale is marked by this green bars at the bottom here. And what you will note is in 2023, that was quite depressed from previous years. We didn't see much of a summertime sales peak like we typically do. But you can see here in May, we closed a good amount of homes over any month that we had in 2023. So that is quite significant. 421 homes sold in May 2024. 2022 May was 450, so it's pretty close, right? But typical May is going to be closer to 500. So we're not at the typical, and that could be a couple different factors. Number one, those interest rates that buyers are still adjusting to and the affordability of that, as well as just low inventory, not as many options and selections for buyers to buy and as many transactions to happen, right? So we are more typical here of pre-2017 and like 2021 sales numbers, these green numbers here we saw. 2021 was a really strong year. 2022 slowed down. 2023 was way below normal sales numbers. And this wasn't just in Santa Clara County or San Jose. It was nationwide. We saw slower sales last year. But as I mentioned on the last slide, the number of homes for sale is still lower than the number of transactions. How is that possible? Well, it takes escrow 3 or 4 weeks to close, and most homes are still selling in 7 to 10 days. So the time period that a house is, being sold is a little bit longer, so we can close a whole bunch more transactions than sit on the market, if you will. Hey guys, my name is Theresa. I am so sorry for interrupting this video. If you've been enjoying this content, please like and subscribe as it really helps out my channel. And if you're looking to move to San Jose or have any questions about moving or the area in general, I would love to connect. I really enjoy talking with our YouTube viewers and I'm so happy to help. Check out my contact information in the description below. Now let's get back to the video. How does this all boil down into numbers? Where are the prices? How does it look? What are some of the metrics to give you a sense of what the market's like compared to other times? Well, first off, I am sensing a leveling of prices. And you say, what? It still says it's 10% over asking price, but as you can see, that's slightly lower. The days on market is slightly higher. The days of inventory also slightly higher. We're up over a little over 3 weeks. So all of these are going in the direction leading me to believe that we're kind of hitting maybe a price leveling. That's the important thing to note with these changes on the prices and trends and these metrics that we follow. The pending number though is still quite strong, relatively the same, and it's still a very strong seller's market because 23 days of inventory means in just 3 weeks, every house on the market would sell if nothing else was put on the market. So that is still a very quick and good moving seller's market. As long as we're staying under 90 days, we're a seller's market. Nationwide, they actually talk more about 6 months. But here the mentality of buyers is a little bit different. It moves much differently. So that worked out to an average price in San Jose of $1.905 million. The median was a little lower, 1.7, because there are some higher end homes that are pushing that average a little bit. But, both of those numbers extremely strong. And looking a lot closer to 2022, we'll look at that peak numbers and compare in a moment. But the average that we saw in December to May's closed average is up 13.6%, way above the 6 to 8% or more I predicted, right? Quite a bit more. But typically we see a little softening in late summer, early fall. And so that might slightly change. We don't know. Sometimes it does, and it goes up even more. And that's going to depend on those interest rates and other factors, of course. But that's far exceeding the forecasts at this point in time. And year over year, we are at 16.2% for average, and median is up very close to the same amount. So this market, yes, it is a seller's market. It continues to appreciate. It seems to be mind-boggling for a lot of buyers, but we have a supply and demand momentum in this market that makes buyers pay a premium because there's just not many options, and there's not many really nice, good options. Those go for even a top premium price. So what's my professional advice? Well, look at this, buyers. If you've been waiting, prices are getting back to that 2022 peak. Yeesh, that's happening quickly. And back then the interest rates were high. So when you're looking to buy real estate, especially in Santa Clara County, San Jose areas, it doesn't make sense to wait. It really makes sense to buy as soon as you can, as soon as you find a match, and as soon as those numbers work out in your budget, jump on it, because you build equity here quite quickly, and you should be ready to compete. It's quite typical because it's a strong seller's market. We have low relative supply and still good demand that we're seeing 3+ offers on a home. But my little caveat there is watch pricing. There are some properties on the market that are overpricing and sitting on the market a little bit, which is an opportunity for buyers to come in and be able to negotiate a little bit more and not have that competition when bidding on a property. So keep that in mind. It's not that you're necessarily going to get it for a deal, but you're going to have less competition and you'll be able to negotiate maybe a little bit more. Now, working with the top real estate agent is your secret weapon because they can help you see these opportunities, understand the market value quicker, and educate you on what's happening in your micro neighborhood that you're looking. My other advice would be consider expanding your search and be open to different locations for a house. Because if you've got, say, a $1.5 million budget and you really want a single family home with decent schools, you probably aren't going to be able to find that in Cambria. It's going to be quite difficult unless you either sacrifice on the schools or you move a little further south and go to Blossom Valley. So there's these different trade-offs that you're going to need to think through and make. But if you wait thinking prices are going to go down, historically, they're not going to go down. This drop here was because interest rates went up and really the monthly payment for buyers stayed the same. There was no deal happening there. It's just it had to respond. The market prices had to respond because interest rates went up so quickly. Be realistic with your budget. That's the most important thing. Know what you can afford going in, know what your limit is, and be prepared to shop for a home priced lower than that because overbidding is very typical. I showed you 10% over on average for a single family home in San Jose. So you want to budget that in your budget and home shopping goals and focus. Sellers, what's my professional advice? Well, pricing your property correctly is really critical to getting great, quick results, right? If you're seeing 10% over asking, that doesn't mean you can put any price on it and expect that. That means that you've got to price it slightly under market value and present it very well to be able to get those results. If you want to push the market value, you're likely going to sit there a little longer and maybe be negotiating around your price or terms. A little bit different experience than getting multiple offers. So know the price and what you're pricing at and what the options and implications might be. Also, if you want to get top dollar, you really need to prep your property because buyers today are spending a lot of money to get into a home and they want to be able to just move in, and they'll pay a premium if you've done all that work to make it clean and move in ready. So you might want to take advantage of that premium and put the effort in up front. And then work with a very experienced real estate agent who has insider information on the neighborhood of what buyers are looking for, where you can spend your money to get that best return on investment. Those are really critical pieces to give you the result that you're looking for. And if you want more details on this and education on selling in the San Jose area, I encourage you to check out our seller seminar. The next one is on August 17th, once most kids are back to school and we get into a little bit more of a normal rhythm. So stay tuned for our next market report where we talk about the June close stats and what it's going to look, or what the numbers look like mid-year. And I'm really going to keep an eye, of course, on those interest rates, which we're going to expect to stay pretty much level. The biggest question I have are the homes for sale going to continue to increase in June, because that can start to change our market dynamics. If, we get more and more inventory, we're going to have more days of inventory pushing it towards less of a seller's market. And that can affect how the market moves and the prices appreciation, etc. So most importantly, let's talk one-on-one about your situation, the neighborhood you're looking in, whether you're buying or selling. It's important to know the local dynamics and the local numbers where you are focused. And I'd love to chat with you one-on-one. There's a link to book a 15-minute phone call down below in the description, or check out our buyer and seller guides, as well as other insider tips to get started on the process. I look forward to connecting with you. I love to work with my YouTube viewers, and I don't know if you need help unless you reach out. So I look forward to hearing from you. You can call or text me at the information below. Take care.